Now to the latest developments on North Korea. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo appeared on Capitol Hill to update Congress on the Trump administration's latest efforts to stop North Korea's nuclear program. This morning he told Congress that President Trump has one goal for the country: eliminating nuclear weapons. Secretary Pompeo says the president made that goal very clear in his meetings with Kim Jong Un.
In return, he made clear it was important to him that when that time came, when those objectives had been achieved, that he in return would receive economic help and that he wanted security assurances from the world.
North Korea has threatened to pull out of the June 12th summit, but the secretary remains positive. Pompeo says for now the U.S. will continue to work as if the meeting is still going to happen. President Trump said that if the meeting does not take place in June, he hopes it will at a later date. Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio joins us now in studio. General, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying the United States is standing by its goal of ridding North Korea of nuclear weapons. Was this clear enough for Kim Jong Un going into this meeting?
You know, I'm not sure. I think he may have said that he understands that. When it comes down to the actual agenda, I am almost convinced that we will not see North Korea giving up its nuclear weapons totally. That's what gives him the power and standing in his mind.
So he has said he has destroyed a nuclear site he had, or has.
Yeah, I think as we speak it's being dismantled. At the same time, other analysts that are closer to that particular issue have said that it is of no use anyway. The next family of nuclear weapons would not be tested there. So I'm to some extent convinced he probably has another site elsewhere that we're not aware of.
So that site was obsolete?
Most likely.
All right. Is this posturing he's doing here to show he's a world leader?
Absolutely. Just by saying he's not sure whether we're going to have this demonstrates he has some power in the world, that he can in fact dictate as to whether in fact we're going to have a meeting or not. That gives him great psychological power across the world as a world leader.
President Trump mentioned on Tuesday that once he started talking to China, things changed, but China benefits if they are denuclearized, correct?
Oh, certainly. You know, China shares a border with North Korea. Any conflict, as we saw back in the 1950s, China came into that conflict, and I'm convinced that if there is one, and I hope not, that China would certainly be involved in some way, especially if there's a nuclear exchange. The nuclear weapons don't pay attention to borders.
What history lesson are we learning here?
I think we better pay attention to the history, and that we've had similar situations with each of the previous Jung families, and where they'll say something and yet do something else.
All right, General, as always, thank you for your thoughts.